It's the Paris Chong Show. It's the Paris Chong Show, show. It's the Paris Chong Show.
Okay.
All right. Hi, everybody. It's Paris Chong, and I'm really excited to tell you who my next guest is because I was just so happy he said yes, he'd be on the show because he is a very famous photographer, the handsome and talented Greg Gorman.
Well, what can I say after that intro? I was happy to be on
It's
your
true.
show. I adore you, Paris. I
No.
love coming to the gallery and seeing the shows and stuff. So when you asked me, I was an immediate yes.
Oh, I was happy you said that. I love that. I love your work. So, what are you working on right this minute?
Well, at the moment, I'm basically working on, we'll see how it all goes, but I'm basically having one of my assistants, actually not one of my assistants, one of the gals from Fahey Klein scan my next two books, and I'm going to try to do it as a 2-volume set. This hasn't really been announced or anything, but I'm trying to do a book on Grace Jones and David Bowie, both of whom I shot for a number of years.
I love both of those people. I know you
Yeah,
got
they're
to
both
you
two
got-
pretty,
Yeah,
you know,
I used to get
big
to.
in the
They're
music
amazing.
business.
Yeah, I used to get to hang out with Grace back in the day in my Miami days, and she always was at Chris Blackwell's
Yeah, they're very
house
close, yeah.
at the hotel. And one time, I just shouted out, "Where's my champagne? My mouth is dry." And she goes,
Yeah.
"Who said that?" And I said, I was like,
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
like, "It's me." So she used to
We
sit on my
always have a
lap.
couple of bottles of Cristal
Yeah, she
after
loves
she submerges
champagne.
her head in a bucket of ice water to tighten everything up. But
Wow, she's like one of my
she's
heroes.
still a trip. Yeah,
She's so
she's great.
gorgeous, so
Yeah.
beautiful. And David Bowie, oh, he's such a. I love the picture you took of him. That's on your website.
Oh yeah, well, there's
Who-
a bunch of
and
them.
you take a lot of pictures of Elton John, Sir Elton John,
I shot Elton for many years.
and John Waters, who we were just talking about. Okay, so I thought this was such a great quote because I also forgot that John's also from Maryland, like Mitch
Right.
Stringer and I. So it says, he said, "I don't want my picture taken when I'm dead, but if I kick the bucket in public when I'm old and don't leave a good looking corpse, please call Greg Gorman so he can use his camera and get the scene and upstage the creeps who we are, trying to take selfies with my corpse. He'll know I'll need proper time for hair and makeup. What's the hurry?" So you're the only person he would let shoot him if he passed on.
I'd never heard that quote that you just read. The one that he wrote, I think, in one of my books was something that I was the only person he let photograph his corpse. But that's great.
Have you ever photographed someone's corpse?
No, not really. I mean, I've had
What would
a
you think
couple
about
friends
that?
that have passed away, and I've taken a snap. But
Yeah.
no, it's nothing I'm really too interested in doing. I
What
would
did you
say.
think of Matthew Ralston's book Vanitas? With
I
all the
love Matthew's work.
Isn't
I
he
think it's
insane?
great. Yeah.
Yeah, he was here too. I'm so lucky I've had both of you here.
Yeah,
So
Matthew's really talented. Matthew and
Oh.
Herb and I all were kind of the school of LA. Matthew probably talked about that. We're going to have a project upcoming at Fahey Klein and hopefully a book with that too.
Oh, really? When?
I don't know the dates. or anything
Are you
yet.
represented by Fahey Klein?
Yes, I have been from the
Yeah, for
beginning of my
years, for
career.
years.
Yeah, since '82 or something like that. Yeah.
Fahey Klein has some of the best photographers, and it's unfortunate that we can't work together because I can only show Leica
I
at
know
Leica
it's a
Gallery.
shame. I have to. Well, it's
But
so
you can
funny
borrow
because
anything.
several of your photographers that you've shown have taken their work and rephotographed it with a Leica. I mean, they've all
One
beat around.
person.
One person that we know. We won't talk about. But to get around it, I'm just not a hypocritical person, and I don't want to be. I think Leicas are great. I had a Leica for a while. I had like an M5 a long time ago, but I'm sponsored by camera companies, so. And I'm happy. So,
Would you ever want to just try one and see if?
well, I shot a little bit with the medium format one, the S2 or whatever it was called, and it was great.
Missile too. Well, you can
Yeah,
borrow anything you want
yeah,
if you have a
yeah. I mean,
special
I think the
project.
camera that you guys make that I think is really interesting is a monochromatic
Oh, yeah.
camera. That to me is the most interesting.
Well, it has to be 80% Leica. So
Right,
because
right,
not
right,
everybody
right.
uses just the one camera. and
Right,
most
right,
photographers don't. You have
right.
to use, like Mitch was just saying, you have to use different things for different
Right.
events. And
Well, if they'd give me one to keep, I'd probably consider it.
I wish they'd give everyone.
I
I
know
still don't
that's
have
the big
one.
thing. I think I don't really. Maybe it sounds sketchy on my behalf, but I don't
No,
shoot
no,
with
but
anything they
you're-
won't give me. If you give me a camera, I'll play with it. But to pick up a camera and shoot something and then give the camera back to
It is weird, isn't it?
Well, not really. Not
No,
at the,
because you
not
don't
at the
want-
cost
'cause
of
you get-
Leicas.
yeah.
But if I was to get a camera, then I'd want the camera for doing the pictures. or
But you're
whatever.
someone
But-
who deserves the camera.
Well, it's all
And
good. But
so
that's a
do-
great camera. I think the monochromatic camera is really awesome.
So so do a lot of
The other
cameras
cameras for me are not really for me, only because I'm getting old, and they're heavy, and the lenses are heavy. They're great cameras. They're works of art, and I think they're great. And but I think, I'm comfortable. I shoot with
Yeah.
Sony and I
So
shoot
do
with
they give you,
Fuji.
does Sony give you a
Yeah.
camera? Yeah, I know. I hate to say this, but I get a lot of photographers say that. Why doesn't Leica
They
give
give
us
them
a
to me, or they give
camera?
me a substantial discount, so yeah.
Yeah. No, well then that's not hard to do.
Yeah.
But would you want to?
I don't know. We can talk about it.
Yeah. Well, how do you stay so young and healthy and fit looking?
uh, People like you lose their eyesight and not
No,
know what
no,
they're really looking
no,
at.
you look
So no,
so,
you're
no, you
very
look really
kind. You're very
good.
kind. You're
You
very
look really
kind.
good.
Right.
And so, are you doing any traveling? I think you have
I just
something.
came back this morning from Temecula, of all places. I'd never been there. It's actually kind of an interesting place. I went down to look at some locations for a potential workshop.
Yeah, it's a wine
And
country, right?
yes, wine country, and it's actually much different than what I expected down there because it kind of gets a bad rap.
Yeah, I've
And
never
it's actually
been.
kind of cool.
Is it?
It's like 90 minutes from LA, and I went down to this horse ranch, and we had a pretty great time, and it was quite beautiful.
Did you have any wine?
Had some very good wine at dinner
Wh-
last night.
What happened? Now you used to have your own wine company, a
I made
wine
wine. I
vineyard.
made wine from 2006 to 2018. Yeah, with
What was it
Dave
called?
Finney, GKG, which are my initials. So I
And
made a
why did you stop?
Cabernet blend. It was too much work. I did it for a long time, sold very well, sold out every vintage, and then it got to the point that it was too much work. And I bought very expensive fruit, made a great wine. And to be honest, I mean, there's so many wines that are being made today, every day, new wineries. And they got to where you could buy a great bottle of wine for a hell of a lot less than buying a bottle of Greg Gorman wine. So
Really? What's your
yeah,
favorite wine?
whatever's in my glass.
That's a good answer. I
I
like.
mean, if I was talking about grape varietals, I would say Pinot Noir
Yeah, me
and
too.
Sauvignon Blanc. Yeah.
Mm. So no more wine, and you're going to be doing 2 books with Grace Jones and David Bowie, and you're teaching a class, I think, later this year.
I have a few classes coming up. I have
Mm-hmm.
a class, one that I've been doing for many years, which is great, in Maine, in Blenheim Park, Maine, with Carrie Payne Staley and her husband, Justin, who is actually one of my sponsors with Fujifilm.
It looks gorgeous,
And
that
it's
spot.
gorgeous. And I'm a fisher, as
I
you
know.
know. And
I
so I'm staying right on a lake
Yeah.
in a cabin. I mean, it's pretty hard to beat. It's not hard to do the math. I get up early before the class starts, fish in the morning as the sun's coming up, say goodnight to the class as the sun goes down, fish a little more.
I know.
So
I think that's
it's
so
a win-win
cool.
situation. And then
Yeah.
I have a class in Aspen, Colorado, just a little bit previous to that,
All very earthy things. When's your birthday?
June 7th.
Uh-huh. So,
76, 1949. There you got all the
uh-huh.
specifics. Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, let's talk a little bit about your portraiture. So, do you have a favorite subject?
It's whoever's in front of my lens. If
Like
it's
your
someone
wine?
like my wine. No, I mean, subjects for me are people that are complacent to do what I ask them to do, people that are not hung up on their looks and that are a little bit more open. I find people that are too caught up in how they have to appear, what the approach has to be, are not so interesting to photograph.
Mm-hmm.
People that take themselves too seriously, not so interesting to
Yeah.
photograph. So I want a person that's an open mind and willing to play and have
Yeah.
fun. Spontaneity is such an important part of creating a strong portrait.
So, do you have a favorite model?
Oh, I have many that I work with. I mean, I shoot more personalities than I do fashion. Matthew was a little bit more of a fashion
Mm-hmm.
photographer than I was. I was more personality.
So, do you still go out and shoot all the time now?
I shoot more for myself. I don't work commercially too much anymore. A little bit now and then. There's jobs here and there that I do. I still do my LAI Works campaign, and
Mm-hmm.
I
Good.
still have a stronghold on a handful of celebrities that I've shot over the years. That I still work with. But I made a conscious choice around 2006, 2007 that I'd kind of been there, done that. I think with the onset of digital, it really changed. My outlook on how things go, and I think it got to the point. I know that like around 2006, 7. I was bidding jobs, and I bid 4 or 5 jobs, and then down to the wire, we'd packed everything up, ready to go. I shouldn't be saying this, but
Mhm.
that's the truth. And then the day before we're leaving, the producers went with another photographer. They got a Greg Gorman lookalike,
Oh no.
style-wise for 10 cents on the dollar. And it got to the point where they really didn't care because with digital, they could go and alter the pictures to make them look enough like the celebrity. And it wasn't about getting that really important connected portrait, which is what I focused on pretty much throughout my career, to really get inside the person's head and get a sense of the soul of who that
Yeah.
individual was. And you look at a lot of the stuff today, and it's just kind of like
I know it's changed a lot,
nobody's
hasn't
home.
it?
Changed a
The
lot.
business has
Yeah,
changed
and
a
with
lot.
AI, it's hideous.
I know. Did you have an agent out here?
I had agents years ago at the beginning of my career. It's funny, and
But
they
that's
they
another
were
thing
okay.
that seems to have gone away.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I had agents, many years ago, and I had one agent that was my rep for many years, and she said to me at one point, she says, Greg, you need to reinvent yourself. And I go, why the fuck would I want to reinvent myself? I spent 40 years trying to figure out who Greg Gorman is, building a brand and a style.
That's
Why the
kind of
fuck do I want
rude.
to find a new Greg Gorman? I think that it made no ludicrous. She was gone the next day. That was the end of that relationship.
That's a rude thing to say to
Well,
somebody.
I don't know whether it's rude, but it wasn't anything I had any particular interest in. I mean, I spent a long time to develop my style. I think if you look at a
She
lot of the
thought you were
great photographers, you look at Avedon or any of the really greats, Penn, when you see a Penn or an Avedon picture.
yeah.
So why would I want to alter what I've spent, my career defining, so to
Yeah,
speak?
plus you've always evolved. It's like you always can
You
tell that Greg
evolve and the
Gorman, yeah,
styles
it's
change. And I
yeah.
mean, I found, I got a little bit more interested. I always jokingly say I was a still life photographer. I tell people to sit down and hold still. But at the end of the day, in some of the later projects I've done, I found sometimes the more interesting picture when I go back and revisit some of the earlier work are those moments in between. It's
hmm
interesting because it's a different perception, growing older and seeing things in a different light. So that was kind of a fun thing when I did the book. It's not about me. I found pictures that
Oh, somebody
normally,
said that. It's not about you. And that's
yeah.
John Waters said that. Yeah,
Oh, he
it's
said
all
it's
about
it's
you.
all about you.
It's all about you. It's your
But
book.
so then, so at that point, then, you go back and you revisit your earlier work and you kind of reassess it.
Yeah. So do you now I've heard about your famous dinner parties. Or you
Crazy.
I
Yeah.
know
It's a funny story. I always, when I was more the flavor of the month, I mean, I used to really have some pretty incredible dinner parties with crazy dinner guests. And, in the early part, it's actually one of the reasons, I love to cook. And in the earlier days, I mean, I had pretty heavy duty group of people, and I'm a person that's very eclectic. I could have a hustler from Santa Monica Boulevard, and I could have Bette Midler or
yeah.
David Bowie, or Iggy or Brian Ferry, any of these, John Waters and all. Complete Heidi Fleiss comes to
Yeah.
almost every dinner party I have. She was at a
I
dinner
just
party
saw
last.
those. I just saw
I
the
talked to her this
pictures.
morning. Yeah, she was at a dinner party last week, and some guests will say, "Why would you have Heidi Fleiss to dinner?" And then at the dinner party, when it's over, they go, "She was the coolest guest you've ever had at a dinner party." So I
Uh,
love just mixing.
do you
You
make
know,
do you cook fish that you catch?
I do when I keep them. I don't
You
keep
don't
much.
keep them?
No, I pretty much catch and release for everything. When I had my home in Mendocino, on the coast, and I would go out salmon fishing, I would keep the king salmon.
Yeah.
But I mean, I fish for, redfish, which are delicious to
Yeah.
eat. But I have an adorable guide that we fish with. My best buddy, Kent Fleury, and I fish with on the East Coast. Just a great guy. And he's a tremendous guide. And, he's a very passionate conservationist. And he doesn't want to kill the
So
fish.
you
So
don't kill the
I'd rather
fish, but
catch.
don't you when you hook them, don't they get
John Waters always jokes, yeah, you don't kill the fish, you drag the poor fucking things through the water until they've ripped their lip open.
No.
But that's not true. And we've rarely ever lost a fish. And I shouldn't say we've never lost a fish. And
hmm
obviously, if we've lost a fish, we've kept them in the guide or someone's eaten it. But most of the time, they're pretty okay.
What's
And
your
we get them
favorite
back.
thing to cook?
I learned how to cook a lot of great Italian dishes through my buddies in Kansas City that own an Italian restaurant back there that I always go to, Jasper's kitchen in Kansas City, and I go there, Jasper's Marco Polo. It's a great restaurant in Kansas City, and
hmm
I've been lifelong friends with the Mirabli family, and so I love his cooking. So he's taught me how to make so many great,
I love Italian
pasta
food.
dishes. Yeah, and
Where
he's
do you have a favorite place you go to eat here?
it's funny. I don't find the Italian restaurants here as great as in some of the other
A lot of
cities,
them are
but there's a
closed.
few good ones here. I mean, I like Locanda Veneta. I
Oh,
like
that's great.
Antica Nuovo.
La
Those are
Conda Veneta by the Cedars.
Yeah,
I
that's
love.
still really great, and it's a great
I
atmosphere.
love there.
I
You
go
know what?
there. I
We need
still
to
go there quite
go. They have a
often.
great lunch special. Did you know that?
I know they have. My brother was always coming up to like, where can I go eat at 11 o'clock in the morning? You can go to Locanda Veneta. It's open early. But they're great, and
I
it's a
love
great
their
restaurant, and
food.
it's a charming spot.
Yeah. The only thing is they won't let disco in. So that's why I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
they wouldn't.
they won't let
Yeah.
disco in there.
Well,
The
you can
chef
sit
was,
on the patio.
yeah,
They have
I
a
like it
few
in the
tables.
little,
I like
little,
the little nooks
I
in the
like the
front
little
window.
nooks
Yeah, they're
too.
great. But
Yeah.
it's a fun restaurant. Yeah.
So what's next for Greg Gorman besides the book? Are you planning any other crazy thing?
Just a few trips. New York for John's 80th birthday in April, and I teach at SVA every year in New York. This will be I think my 20th year. I teach a course there
Oh, that's
that
good.
started with Katrina Eisman and myself at
Do
the
you like
master
teaching?
thesis course. I do. I love teaching.
So
That's
does
really what I do
Matthew.
with my
Matthew
life.
loves it.
I teach, all the time. I mean, that's really what that's my main income is really teaching and selling prints.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So
Most of
Fahey's,
my photography work is just personal work now these
yeah.
days.
Well, I was so lucky to be invited to your 70th birthday party. That was a really fun party.
That was a
That was a
while ago.
beautiful party. That wasn't that long ago, was it?
Which was that up at
It was
Richard
at that
Klug's house
beautiful
up in
house.
off of
Yeah.
Mulholland? Yeah.
There was so many people that all Diane Lane was there and
She's a
Pierce
good
Brosnan.
friend.
She's
Pierce,
so
yeah.
beautiful in
Right.
person. Like she's beautiful on screen, but I
Yeah,
was
and she starred, I got to tell you, she starred in, I think, one of the very best films of the year, which very few people have seen. I think that I got to say, I don't have a lot of appreciation for Lionsgate Films, who made the
uh-oh.
film, because they also made Catherine Bigelow's film, Hurt Locker, which they just didn't really get behind at the beginning. They were worried about the movie, I guess. And I know Catherine called me and said, would I come to New York and shoot Jeremy Renner for pictures for the movie, because they didn't really have any really good art, and Lionsgate didn't really want to get behind it. And we did it, and of course she won the Academy Award and it won Best Picture. And likewise, this picture that Diane Lane just made, which I think is a masterpiece, and it's called Anniversary. And Lionsgate made it.
Anniversary.
Well, you would never see it. They've buried the film. And
Oh,
basically, Diane had a Q&A out here, which I went to and saw the film, and you can buy it on Amazon, I think, or Apple, I
oh,
should
I'll
say,
watch
for
it. I'm a
$10
big
or
fan
whatever
of
it is.
hers.
And it's an extraordinary movie, but it's about a dystopian society. So it's basically Trump's story without it being told. And I think maybe Lionsgate was too nervous about this prick, just waiting for that man to die. I wish it would be sooner than later,
Well, I'm glad
I
you
must
said that.
say. Well, I'll say it. I mean, I
I
can't
shouldn't
stand him.
say
I mean, it's
that, but
just destroyed everything, absolutely everything.
it's not even normal what's happening at all.
No, and
It's a
people are
sad.
so afraid of him. And I mean, he's got his 3 hookers in office and drunks and drug addicts. I mean, who would have ever thought 20 years ago that this would be the country we're living in
I
today?
know. I can't believe that this is happening. It really blows my mind, and we're losing so many good people because everyone's moving
A lot of
abroad.
people are moving
Don't I
abroad.
don't I had so many friends all at
Nobody
the
wants to
same
be part of
time
this. And
move.
the thing is, the muscle he carries, the people are afraid of their own shadow. It's just, nothing's getting better. It's just getting worse.
It's really bad. I have a lot of friends that just left because of this, and Pat Lanza was planning to leave. She's the only one
Yeah,
that I'm
she's
not
gonna.
sorry for. Everyone
Yeah,
else, I'm like, you're
she's
leaving. You
sitting
can't.
pretty in Lake Como.
No,
Yeah.
I talked to her. She's like Paris. She goes, I don't. I'm gonna go. I'm seeing her in the
It's
summer.
funny. We were boyfriend and girlfriend
It's
back in
shocking.
college days.
That's
Well, it all
completely.
flipped,
No,
but it's funny. But we're great
I
friends, and we've been great
I
friends
can't
for
even
many,
see
many
you guys
years.
together as boyfriend and girlfriend. I'm
Well, it
like,
was in the early '70s.
really?
Yeah. But
How long
Pat's
did you
great.
date?
No, we went out during college days and stuff. It was more just kind of a fun
It was a
thing.
sexual thing.
Not really. I mean, we slept together, but we wasn't real sexual.
I
But
love
we were
this whole
great friends,
story.
and I adore Pat, and I know her as Midge.
Midge?
That did you ever hear that?
No.
That was her nickname, Midge. Everybody
No,
called her
but I called her
Midge.
mama one time and she said, "Don't call me that."
Yeah. No, yeah, that's very Pat. Yeah,
She
no.
was like, "Don't
Well, her
call me
nickname
that." And I'm
when
like,
we were growing up was
"Sorry." And she's
Midge.
like, "I
Everybody
just don't
called her
like mama.
Midge because she was so little.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love Pat. So she called me and she said, "No, Paris, I don't even I was gonna buy a house, but I found this beautiful I got an 8-year lease." Have you talked to her? She got an
Not in the last few weeks, but I
8-year
talked to her.
lease
Oh,
for
that's
this
great.
gorgeous place. So I'm gonna see her in July after
Oh,
Arl.
that's so great.
I know, and
So that'll be
but
great.
she was the one friend that was planning to move anyways before all the
Right,
fires and
right,
all the
right.
chaos and Ace and blah.
No, and one of
So
her other best friends, who's a dear friend of mine, Paul Burdich, he's moved to Portugal, so
a lot of people are
he's
moving to Portugal.
outside of Lisbon. Yeah,
I know I would like to move to Portugal too. If I had any reason to go somewhere, I'd go. I
it's
want to live.
beautiful. Yeah,
Well, do you
I
have,
spend a lot of time in Europe. I mean, I spend at least 2 months a year in
you
Europe
do?
every year. I have. It's kind of like Groundhog Day. I always teach in New York in May, late May, for SVA, and then I go to Europe for a couple of months. And generally, I do a workshop up in the Dolomites, but we've done like a half a dozen up there. So I need to find a new venue for me over there. I've taught in Norway. I wanted to get back into doing some stuff up in Kristiansand, which is a beautiful island about an hour from Oslo, which is a great. I've done some great workshops there.
Yeah, you know, I went to see Hossein asked me to come and give an award out in Greece for the House of Lucy's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I went and I saw your photo there. He's like, Greg gave me, we got this from Greg. And it was so good to see him. You know, I used to run his gallery. Did you know that?
No, I
Yeah,
didn't.
I used to run for
But I've
Armani
known Hossein
Gallery.
and Susan Perez.
I
Who's,
love
you know, I've known
her.
Herb from back in the days of Antonio
Mm-hmm.
Lopez in New York for
Yeah,
many, many years. We were friends with Antonio and Juan and Don and Paul,
yeah.
all of
The
his
good
group
old
of factory
days.
days
The
when
good
Andy
old
was there
days.
and at the factory. Yeah, it was
I
great.
would I would have I think I just missed all that good fun like Studio 54. I think I would have fit right in that crowd, you
Yeah, it was
know.
fun. It was
But I
those were
didn't
good
get
old
to say it
days.
was I just missed it. But I got to hang out
For
with
my
Culture
first night
Club.
at Studio 54, I went with Cindy Hall, Jerry Hall's sister,
Oh wow.
to dinner at Francesco Scavullo's, and we all went over to Studio 54 after dinner, which was
You,
kind of great. Yeah,
I'm glad you brought you know that's my favorite photographer.
he is. He was a nice man. He
I
and Sean,
love
we all went
his
to Studio
photos.
54
He
after dinner.
he was the first that was the first photo book I ever bought. I was like a teenager,
Yeah, I
but
was a
you know
big
he did
fan of
because I
his.
loved him because he did all the Cosmopolitan covers, you
Right,
know. So I
right,
was a young girl and everybody loved Cosmopolitan and they used to have the best horoscopes in there and it was just like the best thing
right,
on the
right,
planet. And I loved Gia. So and
right.
I mean I couldn't believe how beautiful she was when I saw that cover. So I bought it. I remember I probably wasn't even 17 and I bought a Francesco Scavullo book that I still have till this day. I loved how he did like all that grainy look. You know
Right.
how he made it
Yeah.
grainy
Well,
and
he probably shot Tri-X. He probably just shot a
he just
lower
seems so
resolution
fabulous. I'm
film.
so
Yeah.
glad. So you knew him and you hung out with him at Studio 54. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
Was he nice?
Yeah, he was really nice.
He wasn't a diva? Or as I
I
say, a
never knew
neat.
him very well.
Yeah.
Cindy invited me to dinner and said, "You want to go to dinner at Francesco Scavilla's?" I said, "Yes,
I didn't
of
even know
course."
Jerry Hall had a sister. Is it true that
She
ever?
had. They have 6 or 7 sisters. I
Jesus. Oh,
think
yeah,
it's a
they're from
big family.
Texas.
I believe it's a pretty big
So
family.
is
Yeah.
it true that people were just like blatantly having sex up in the rooms and
Oh,
stuff?
there was a little bit of everything going on
Really?
there. I
Yeah, the
think.
good old
Yeah.
days, right? And you saw,
It
and
was great.
Liza Minnelli
Well,
always hung out there.
it was the old I think CBS Playhouse or something. So it was like big stair seats and stuff that went all the way up, and then there was the floor, and then seating areas down below.
And I
So
don't think people realize it didn't even stay open that long. It was like a 2-year run or something, right?
yeah,
It
maybe
used,
longer than that, but in
but
the
like not that
78,
long.
80s,
It wasn't like
something
a
like that. Yeah,
long-standing place like, some of these other clubs. So I'm glad you got to do that.
yeah.
Do you have pictures of it?
From there now,
No? When did you start shooting?
I was shooting then. Of course, I
It's
started
just in
taking
and out
pictures,
there?
but yeah,
Do you know Meryl Miser? Meryl Miser. She took a lot of photos at Studio
yeah. No.
54. She took the picture of Bianca on the horse.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? Okay,
yeah.
yeah. I know the
She's
picture of
awesome.
that.
I got to meet her when I was in New York last time. She's very awesome. So, who's your favorite photographer?
Oh, who do I really love? I mean, I was always a huge fan of Richard Avedon. I'm a big fan of Harel. I love Hero's work. Gianpaolo Barbieri. I love. There's
Who
a lot.
who do you
I
think's
really love
overrated?
Albert Watson's work. I think Albert
Yeah,
Watson's
he's
just an
yeah.
amazing photographer.
Who do you think's overrated?
I wouldn't say that.
You wouldn't?
No, I don't think that does anybody any benefits to put people down or to say somebody's bad,
Some
or that.
people are though, don't you think?
Oh, there's people I definitely like better than others, but they're not. There's no reason to really talk about it. Doesn't make anybody.
That's so
Doesn't
nice.
make me a
I
better
thought maybe
person.
I know. I thought
Yeah.
maybe you'd go there because you have your opinions about things,
Oh,
which
I
I
have
like
my
about you.
opinions,
You're
but
not, and you're not scared to say them.
no, I'm not. But there's no real reason to go down that road.
So do you have an art show coming up at Fahey Klein with the book?
Well, no, nothing's planned at this point, and we're working on a couple of European things. But the book is. We have scanned all the black and whites of David and Grace. Nothing's been finalized. Retouching that's just starting, and Nicole is just starting to scan the color. So we're way out.
Do you like doing art shows, or
Yeah, I love
yeah?
having my
Do you,
gallery shows. I
you
love
do?
doing that. Yeah, and I've had a lot of shows with David. He's been my gallerist from the beginning.
I
He was
love
originally
David.
with G. Ray Hawkinson. He had a gallery together, and then David split, and I went with David.
That's good. You made the
But
right
he's been
decision.
great. Yeah, he's been great, and he has the best staff and
The
really
sales have
great
been
people.
picking up. I've noticed.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's kind of turned it over to the crew there, and they're out there doing a really good
Yeah, no,
job.
but
And Heather's been doing
after
a
the
great job.
fires, it was
Yeah,
awful.
yeah. I had my last show for It's Not About Me during COVID, which was a nightmare because they could only have a couple of people in the gallery at a time. So they'd call me at home. Oh, so and so's coming down to the gallery. Can you come down? I was making 2 and 3 trips a day to the gallery to give people a tour of the show.
So, what do you want people to remember you for, like when they think about Greg Gorman?
Well, I mean, hopefully they'll remember me for my work. I basically I've set up a foundation to kind of keep my name alive. I did decide not to sell my archives. I think
No?
a lot of people have sold them. and I just want to have more control. I'm a
That's
control
good.
freak, so I
Are
set
you?
up a charitable foundation to keep, my name alive, and hopefully people remember me for my black and white photography, I suppose, for my
And
harsh lighting, my strong highlights and hard shadows, and kind of sculptured lighting, and for my uh, fine art male and female nudes, that
yeah.
sort of stuff.
If you had, I know this is a hard question. It's like asking what your favorite song is, but like if there's one photo that you're the most proud of that you find to be your most iconic image, what would it
Well, I
be?
mean, I think it's the shot of Andy Warhol, which is a funny story because I was working doing LAI Works, which is one of the defining
That
uh,
is a good shot.
pieces of work of my career, I suppose you could say. I've shot a couple hundred ads for them, and they appeared every month in Interview Magazine. And I was shooting a lot of coverage for Interview Magazine back in the day, and Andy called me up, and he had just signed a deal with Ford Modeling, and he stuttered. I don't know if you know that Andy kind of had
No,
a
I
stutter,
didn't.
and he said, "Greg, this is Andy. Do you think that LAI Works would like me? You want me for an LAI Works ad?" And I said, "Yeah, I think they probably would." And I shot those pictures, and unbeknownst to me at the time, that became probably, as a commercial work, probably my most significant image. One of them, certainly.
And it's a really good one. So where can we see all these images?
Either on my website or
Is it?
Google my name, and you'll
Yeah,
find
this
them
guy
online.
is was like insanely talented, and I do love that picture of Andy Warhol. I got to meet him backstage at a Culture Club concert in the '80s and he was with Debbie Harry, and I had someone took.
Deb is a real good
She's
friend of mine. Yeah,
awesome,
she's a
yeah,
close friend of
she's
mine.
awesome, and someone took a Polaroid of us. That was this amazing Polaroid, and you know how you stick a Polaroid in your mirror at your house? I wasn't thinking how amazing it was that I'd have that one day, and I had a party and someone stole it. I was
I know,
so
isn't that so
sad.
frustrating?
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
got to meet him, but he didn't talk that much, so I didn't notice the
Well, he was
stutter.
quiet, yeah, but he
Yeah.
was funny because he would come out. He was like a wallflower, and when he would come to LA, sometimes he'd call me, "What's happening, Greg? What clubs are happening?" And I would sometimes take him out to a club, and he'd kind of just stand. And then when the Milk Club, the Milk Bar, or whatever it
Yeah, yeah.
was on, I took him there a few times, and I remember one time Annie Lennox was there, so that was great. And he would just kind of stand back in the
Yeah, I
corner and just
remember
kind
that
of
he was
observe.
doing
He was
that.
an observer, yeah.
Yeah, so are you always gonna stay in LA?
Am I always going to stay in LA? I'm too old to move at this house. You've been to my house. I'm
No,
too
because
old. You've
and
never been to my
I wanna
home?
come to the you
Yeah, I mean,
invited me
there's
for
not
the
a
book
square
signing.
inch of wall space. It's like I guess you could say I'm a hoarder. There's
I wanna
just
come to the
shit
next dinner
everywhere.
party.
Okay, all right. We have to
I
find a
wanna
good one. We had a good one recently. I had a
I would have
fun
loved to
one
have been there with Heidi
recently
Fleiss.
for Joey Arias. Yeah, we had Joey Arias and Kenny Sharp and Ann Magnuson. Kind of a real interesting, kind of off the
It looked
wall
like a good
group. And Heidi, of
yeah.
course, was there. Yeah.
What'd you make for dinner?
What did I make? Well, you know what? You're always at the mercy of the lowest common denominator at the table for what you can make that people will eat. So I think that was a very simple dinner with like grilled chicken and vegetables and stuff like that. Pretty
Okay.
straightforward. It wasn't one of my fancier dinners with either one of the pastas I learned to make from Jasper in Kansas City or some other things.
And how's your love life?
Well, I don't usually discuss that too much online, but it's actually the best it's been since 2019 as
Oh my
of one
God.
week. So
I
pretty
love
exciting. I'm
hearing
very
that.
happy. Yeah,
Well,
we'll
that's
see
why
where
you
it
look
goes. You
so
don't want to
happy.
jinx these things and
Yeah,
talk
no.
too much about it. But yes, at the moment it's pretty unbelievable. I'm pretty happy about that.
Wow. Well, thank you
So
for
that's kind of exciting
sharing.
for an old man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. Well, you look so good. I mean,
Yeah,
come
you're
on.
kind.
No,
You're
you're
life
awesome.
affirming.
No, you're the best. You're the best. And thank you so much for making time. Can I take you to La Conda Veneta? Not today, but next week or
Sure,
this
we
week?
could do that at
Let's
some point.
go. Let's
Yeah.
go. I would take you today, but I have to Uber all
No, I've
over
got a
town.
dinner. I got a dinner tonight with a
I don't
bunch of
have. I have to
friends. I'm going to
figure
go
out.
up to Pache tonight, which I like too.
Oh,
You ever
oh,
go
I
up there?
love that place.
Pache's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm
Um,
heading up there. But I do eat at Locanda Veneta all the
that's a
time.
great spot.
Pache's fun. Pache on the patio. I
Yeah,
never sit inside. I sit on the patio. It's really
I want
great.
to go there. You know, the owner is lovely.
He left, right?
What?
The one guy that was the
The
main
young
guy there.
guy?
Huh?
He's a younger guy?
Yeah, he's fairly young. The guy was the main maitre d' there. I think he went to open, and if I'm
He
not
owns
mistaken.
it, not the maitre d'. He
Well,
owned
the
it.
maitre d' is the one. What's his name? That's the one
I'm
I know.
blanking on his name, but he approached me to do a pop-up there. He
Okay.
wanted to put some art in there, and we were
Yeah.
talking about it. Then he kind of ghosted
Yeah.
me, which is fine because I'm so busy.
Yeah,
When people
because
ghost me, I'm
the guy
happy.
I knew, I think, went and opened a restaurant in the valley, but a different guy who was really
Oh,
great. He was a maitre d'
yeah,
there that we
Pache's
knew.
great. That was by Pat's old house.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
not far from where she
Well, we
lives.
have to go see Pat.
I know. I want to go visit her at
Well,
some
I'm going to be
point.
there in July.
You're right. Yeah,
hmm
I'm not. I haven't really, since I'm not teaching in the Dolomites this year in Europe. I'm trying to figure out where I'm like I go to the same cities every year. It's so boring, I'm sure, but I love Bologna, and I love London. I love Hamburg, and I
Yeah.
love up in some of the Scandinavian
And
countries.
you have friends all over the place.
I do.
And you were in Dubai with Jeff. Wasn't Jeff
Yeah, I
Dunas
helped.
there?
I got Jeff that
Yeah,
show.
Jeff was here. He was telling me
Yeah,
about it. He
yeah.
said it was a
I got
trip
him that
there.
show. Amazing.
Yeah.
There's a guy named Simon Newton who coordinates this,
I
and
want to
he's
go.
extraordinary.
I want
And
to go to that.
I've had 2 shows over there, and they've been great. He's quite an extraordinary gentleman, and he manages to navigate the world of photography and bring the greatest photographers from all
I
over the world.
heard great
And he
things
puts
about
the
it.
things together, and the wall color, the carpet, the layout, the design, framing, everything. He's an absolute master, and it's an incredible festival that I don't think enough people know about, and I want to definitely plug it. It's called Exposure.
Yeah, I wanted.
And,
Do
who
they?
knows, you have these predefined ideas of what the Middle East is going to be like, Dubai and Abu Dhabi and Sharjah. This is fabulous. I had
Yeah.
an amazing time. This is in Sharjah, which is considered the cultural capital of the Emirates.
And Karen Ballard was there too.
I got Karen the
You
show.
got
I
Karen in
got
there?
quite a few of the
Oh, you're a
photographers
good
in this year.
friend.
Karen, Jeff, Gerd Ludwig.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of my buddies over there. So he calls me and I give him a few names every year.
Oh, that's
And
good.
I mean, it's an exceptional experience, and it is so well put together and so organized. It's truly mind-boggling. It's a huge, massive thing. He has like 75 photographers, 100 photographers, if you can imagine. They're all big names. For me, I'm such a people person that it was very exciting for me to have shows there because I met so many photographers from walks of life I'd never meet. The first night I was at dinner there this past year when I had a show, I'm sitting across from this really attractive girl, and we're having this conversation. What's your name? My name's Pippa, who I'm going to see this coming week, actually. And I said, "Oh, do you have something going on?" He says, "Yes, I produced and directed my octopus teacher." And I just flipped out. You can imagine, because I love that movie. I've never eaten octopus since I saw that movie. And so she and I became great friends. I met so many fascinating photographers there that, in general, in our world here in Hollywood, which is so insular, you'd never have the opportunity of meeting some of these extraordinary people. And I met so many, fabulous people. I've stayed in touch with most of them.
Did they have people doing portfolio reviews there?
Um,
I want to go.
I don't think so.
No, they need
No.
to. Then I can go. That's
Yeah,
what I do.
that would be something
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
what I was doing I did that for Hossein when I went to Greece to the House of Lucy's, and then I did that at Arles, which was really fun. And I got to meet Howard Greenberg walking around on the streets.
Right.
He got me into a private party. This girl wasn't going to let me and my gorgeous girlfriend Shannon in, and we were like, "Well, let's just swing in and pretend we're on the list." And we'll have Paris Chong Leica. I said, "Oh, you're not on the list." I'm like, "Oh, how embarrassing." And then so we walk around the corner, and there's Howard, and she's like, "Oh my God, he has my favorite gallery." I'm like, "Hi, I'm Paris, blah blah blah." Oh, we were trying to go to that party. He goes, "Well, I'm staying at the hotel." And I'm like, "Oh," and then we just kind of started walking with him. And then he went up to the front and it's like, "They're with me." And the girl's like, "Yeah, they're not on the list." And I'm like, "What is this, New York circa 1970?" I'm like,
Right.
"Who
I mean,
cares?
it's
We're in a
crazy.
little tiny French town. Why are you being
Exactly.
such a bitch?" And so he's like, "No, they're my guests with me. I'm staying in the hotel." And she's like, "Yeah, but they're not on the list." And he's like, "I want to talk to the manager." And then she just like begrudgingly let us in. So we got to go to the fabulous party. I got to see the owner of Leica. I'm like, "Hi." And Roger Ballin, who was going to do a show with us next
Right.
year.
I love Roger Ballin. Yeah,
He's
see, I
coming
love him.
next year.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. Well, he's great.
He's
He's
amazing.
great. He's a great lecturer. His work's
Mhm.
extraordinary. I particularly love his work a lot. I'm
Yeah.
a big, big fan.
Yeah, he's coming next year, but I just want to make sure he can be here. I don't like doing shows with people not here anymore. It
Yeah,
just
no,
doesn't make
I met
sense.
him thanks to Jeff Dunas from
No.
Jeff's workshops in Palm Springs.
Yeah, that was really fun. I'm glad I crashed that party. That was good.
Yeah,
Do you ever
yeah.
go to Arles?
I was just going to say to you, I've never been to
It's
Arles or
great.
Perpignan or any of them. It's so silly. I don't know why I've never been, but never been to any of those things.
Well,
I'm out of the loop, I think, in terms of all those places. I
it
don't know
doesn't
why,
sound
but
like you're out of the loop at all, the
well,
places that you
different,
are going. Well,
yeah,
I just am so thrilled you came and thank you so much. It means the world to me.
well, my pleasure.
Yeah.
Anytime.
I also wanted to thank my girlfriend Eva for getting me these little camera earrings. Did you see these?
Well, those
There
are
was
pretty
at an
cool.
estate sale for Jolie Fisher. Thank you, Jolie Fisher. I
really?
love them. I'm
Oh,
the gallery
great.
director of Leica, and I have your camera earrings.
That's great. Well, thank you so
So
much.
thank you,
I
Eva
so
and
love
Jolie.
coming to your openings at the gallery. They're always
I
such a
adore
great
you.
event.
And I'm taking you to lunch, and we're gonna have some wine, and we're gonna have a good time.
That sounds like a
Okay.
plan.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll see what when we're.
Well,
Yeah.
we
What's
can,
your website?
I think, well, the website is gormanphotography.com.
Okay.
And I do have 2 workshops coming up. I highly recommend my workshop in Maine, Blenheim Park. It fills up pretty quick
Yeah.
because I always I get the same. I must be a bad teacher because I always get the same people. They come every year, but this
No,
year
they're fans.
I've booked a couple extraordinary models that I'm bringing in. One of the boys that I photographed in the Dolomites, who's beautiful, he's coming
I
in to
saw
model,
him. Gorgeous.
and I'm bringing Stephanie Moore in, who's modeled for me many years in Mendocino. She's now a professional photographer and great, but she's doing this as a favor to me. So, killer models, great locations, and then I have a workshop that's portraiture only. That'll be in Aspen, Colorado,
And it's on
at
your
Anderson
website?
Ranch. They're getting up on the website now. They'll be up. That's the Blenheim Park. The one in Maine is at the very end, I believe, of October, and the one in Aspen, I believe, is near the end of August.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you have a
They'll
really
be on the
great,
website, and you can see them
great
from
life.
there.
You have a great life.
Well, thank you for the plug, and thank you for your time.
Yeah, no, thank you. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
It's a Paris Chong show. It's a Paris Chong show, show, show. It's a Paris Chong show. It's a Paris Chong show, show, show.